gave in aid to the whole of Africa in that year. So this debt thing is a fraud. We have to also ensure that we are ending, you know, the continued human and people's rights violations, our political prisoners, the fact that there is this bounty on Assata Shakur's head, the fact that we still have Mumia Abu Jamal where he is, and all the other political prisoners. So the first task of our reparations movement is to ensure that we get their freedom, that they are exonerated, that they are, you know, released from this burden of being defined as criminals, when we know that they are freedom fighters. In particular, we are using this bicentennial commemoration to push for a wider public dialogue on the whole question of Pan-African reparations for global justice. We are using that to try and lobby support from parliamentarians that we need to have a national dialogue on Pan-African reparations. And that would link into another initiative that we are developing, which is an all-party parliamentary commission for truth, justice and reconciliation. This will be in the British Parliament, whereby we will open up Parliament to hearing testimonies about the impact of African enslavement, African chattel enslavement, African colonial enslavement and neo-colonial enslavement on us today. And this commission that we are lobbying for, we have devised a framework, we have got some support from parliamentarians, black and white, but this commission will not only hear testimonies from those of us of African descent in Britain, people from overseas, you yourselves, as Africans in America, will be able to testify at this commission, because we recognise that because of such a thing as the British Empire, which by the way is still alive and well, then it means that you all should have a say in what role Britain plays in terms of amending, you know, atoning and making recompense for the actions that were committed, you know, historically, and the fact that today Britain, just like the United States of America, remains one of the biggest enslaving nations on the earth. If we look at the fact that these so-called financial capitals of the world, where is that finance coming from? At whose expense? So those of us who live in these countries also have to recognise what is the responsibility we have in terms of challenging the foreign policies, challenging the neo-colonial enslavement and subjugation, not only of us in terms of domestic neo-colonialism, but also neo-colonialism of our brothers, sisters, families worldwide. This widening public debate will be used to help to delegitimise their own systems of misrule and, you know, bad governance, in the same way that they are going around the world developing all these kangaroo courts. We've got the one of, you know, Charles Taylor and so forth, but yet how many of them have ever stood trial for the historical or even contemporary crimes against us? So we have to build a public environment and a power base that goes even beyond the black community of African descent, that we're able to build links with all other peoples who've experienced crimes against humanity at the hands of Europeans. Whether you call them Americans, whether they're Australians, whether they are Afrikaners, doesn't matter. They are one people, and that's how they operate as. Despite the disagreements that will come between them, when it comes to oppressing us, they are united. So we also must be united in our global strategy, and therefore we have a responsibility. After the conference last year in Ghana, where we created that dialogue even amongst us as various movements, we must not be complacent. We have to look at how are we reflecting the international dimensions even of what we consider to be our national reparations movement. So for those of you as African peoples of African descent in America, how do you relate to and advocate